Right, let's try this again, shall we? Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I have literally just filmed this video and was about to start editing, looked at the footage, and it's safe to say my microphone has officially broken and all the audio was way out of whack. It was just like fuzzy noise for 20 minutes. So I'm filming without a microphone and I haven't done this in a very long time, so I have no idea what it's going to sound like, but it's going to be an interesting video to say the least, so it's a great way to start really, just because obviously my channel is all about university videos. I do a lot of that kind of content and I really enjoy it, and I get a lot of people asking me questions about it, so you obviously really enjoy it too, which is great. And today we're going to be talking all about moving away from home, living by yourself for the first time, moving to uni, which is obviously pretty intimidating and a very big step for a lot of people, so I've obviously got a lot of questions about that as well, which I'm more than happy to answer and just chat through. But obviously if you've been here before, you'll know that usually my videos are very structured and I have a nice long list of things that I've thought through and want to chat about and things that I think will help you. But today we're doing things a little bit differently, just because not only am I in the world's strangest mood today, but also I don't think this is kind of like a one size fits all kind of situation, in the sense like there's a lot of different factors which will affect somebody's experience of moving to university or moving away from home, like how close you are with your family or how far away you're moving, or whether you're moving in with people or by yourself, all of those kind of things which hugely affect the kind of experience you're going to have living by yourself for the first time. So instead, bear with me, I thought I would just chat about my experience, and hopefully there might be a little nugget in there somewhere where you're like, oh yeah, that applies to me, I can take that and use that and implement it and hopefully make my experience a bit better. That's my plan for today. So I'm taking this whole situation with a pinch of salt, thinking hopefully it was for some good reason and that my first video was just crap or just not very good and the universe was trying to tell me, and this one's going to be far better. So thanks for sticking with me, for bearing with me, and let's get chatting about moving away from home and all the things that come with it. So to give you a bit of backstory, I am originally from Bournemouth. I have a very close relationship with my parents and my family. My family unit is all quite tight. We like close-knit family, I guess. There's a lot of events that happen, a lot of chat that happens, we see each other quite regularly. And I also had a boyfriend back in Bournemouth when I was going to university. I had a relationship and we were together, we had been together like 6 or 7 months when I started looking at universities. So that was kind of the backstory, and I decided to go to the University of Greenwich, which is about 120 miles, I want to say, maybe a bit more, from Bournemouth. So it was about a 2.5 hour drive, or super easy to get to by coach or train. And I know a lot of people move a hell of a lot further than 100 miles, but that was just my experience, and it was just very nice to know that if I wanted to get home quickly for like an emergency or something bad happened, or I just really fancied it, I could. So that was really great for me, and just something that gave me a little bit of peace of mind, just because I had come from such a close family unit. I guess it was nice to know that if I wanted to jump back in it, I could. So in terms of moving to university, I was actually really looking forward to it. I was quite excited to live somewhere new, to experience something different. Obviously I was well aware that I'd probably be homesick and that I'd really miss my mum and my boyfriend and everything like that, but I knew there were things that I would be able to experience living by myself which would kind of like round me out as a person and kind of help me become that independent woman I wanted to be. It would help me learn about finances and how to cook for myself and just like how to clean and all of those good things that I didn't really experience that much growing up, because my mum was very hands-on and really, like, I guess I was very lucky in the sense that she would cook for us and she would buy our food, groceries, and she'd pay the bills and everything like that, so we didn't really have to worry about that as kids, which obviously is very fortunate and a very great position to be in, but also meant going into university I hadn't had much experience of that before, so that was kind of intimidating and took a lot of figuring out and made the transition seem a bit bigger, because I was literally going from like a very sheltered life to literally just me by myself. And I don't think I really realised that until it was the day I was getting dropped off at uni. My mum and my sister drove me to uni, and as I was like walking back from saying goodbye to them, like walking back to my room, it wasn't until I got to my room that I realised like I'm completely by myself. I was obviously in a flat with other people because I had gone to university accommodation, so I was in a flat for 6 of us I think, and we all obviously had separate rooms. We didn't share rooms or anything, we all had our separate bathrooms and stuff, and I didn't know of any of them before going into it, so they were all pretty much strangers. We just had the same university that we went to. That was kind of something we all had in common, otherwise we were just like complete strangers to each other. So that was kind of the first thing that I realised, like, wow, it's just me, because I didn't have any other friends at university. I didn't really know that many people going to London for university, so I felt very alone. And I'm not very good at being by myself. It's something I've come to realise. On the best day, I'm not very good at being by myself, so on a bad day I really suck at being by myself. So in order to kind of get used to that, I made a lot of distractions for myself. I worked a lot because I didn't have many contact hours at university. I had like 8 hours a week, so I worked a lot. I hung out with uni friends, I went to the gym, and just like different things to help fill up my time and take my mind away from just being me, sat in a tiny room all by myself thinking about home. Saying that, I did go home quite a lot, which definitely helped. I feel like if you can go home and you're used to having that kind of close-knit family unit, it is nice to go back and visit, because you don't really feel like you're missing out too much, which is nice, because I think that's something I was mostly worried about, is just like my family are going to keep having all of these conversations and moments and different events and things, and I wasn't going to be at any of them. But I managed to find like a nice balance for me between being alone, being at uni, living by myself, and also visiting family and going home and having them come up to London and visit me, which was really lovely. So that really helped as well, just kind of ease the transition, I guess, because I still had the best of both worlds. Whereas now, 4 years later, still living in London, we probably go home maybe once every 4 to 6 weeks, I guess, so a lot less than I was before. I think I was going home, I think it got to a point where I was going home every weekend, which is a bit intense, and I know not a lot of people do that at university, but it just helped me because I really did struggle living away from home. I was very homesick, and it took a hell of a lot of FaceTimes and calls to my family and things like that for me to kind of get over that. There was a point in October, so I think I had been at university for like a month or two, maybe it was the end of October, where I was like, I need to move home. I am dropping out of uni, I am going back to Bournemouth. And it wasn't until Christmas that I kind of felt a bit more settled, like, no, I can do this, this is rounding me out as a person, this is the person I want to be when I'm older, and it's a great starting point, especially because I feel like when you go to university and you're living by yourself for the first time, you still obviously have that support system around you through the university institution. Like, they have advisors, and like you have people at reception and things like that to help you out. You're not completely on your own, whereas if you didn't go to university accommodation, or you're deciding to live at home during university, which you'll save yourself a lot of money, but I find that the first time you'll move away is when you're living in a proper flat by yourself, just you, or like maybe 1 or 2 other flatmates. And not every landlord is nice, and you won't have a support system from your building at that point. It's literally just you in some random apartment or house or what have you. So that can be a bit more difficult because you don't have anyone to like fall back on, I guess. Whereas it made the transition a little easier because I knew I wasn't completely in the dark, thrown in the deep end. I still had people that I could contact if something went wrong or something broke or whatever. I had an idea of what I was doing, and I didn't feel super like clueless or anything because I had backup, I guess. So I think if you are about to move to university or you're a bit nervous about it, definitely go ahead and just write a list about the things you're looking forward to. So whether that's learning new recipes or learning how to cook for yourself or things, because I think I literally just cooked like baked beans and eggs before I went to university. So I actually learned how to cook a meal, which was pretty cool. If you're looking forward to doing your own food shop and buying all the foods that you want or that you like, or if you're looking forward to like having crazy nights out and no one checking if you're back on curfew or whatever, just write all of those like silly or fun things down, and it will just help you feel more positive about the move because you have things that you're genuinely looking forward to and things that you know are gonna give you a good experience of uni, but also just round you out as a person. Like I said, moving away from home makes you grow up a lot. You have a hell of a lot of growing up to do in that situation because you have your own bills to pay, you have your own food to buy, and you're kind of responsible for your own life in that sense, because the only person who's going to make sure that you get enough sleep, get enough water, get enough food and have shelter over your head is you, which is kind of scary, but also something that everyone has to learn at some point, so why not do it whilst going to university. But having that list really helped me kind of view moving to university in a positive way, and I think that's what made me so excited. And obviously it was a bit of a transition and things had to adjust and change when I got there, because I realised like, oh, it's a little bit harder than I thought it was, because I guess my expectations were very high, and then I was like, oh, I've actually got to do it now, I've got to put in that work and get those things done. So that was a little bit different and definitely took some adjusting, but all the things like FaceTime and things like that really helped me feel less homesick, because I feel like it was just ways that I could keep those moments that made me happy in my old living place, like living in Bournemouth, the things that made me happy, like talking to my family, spending time with them, playing games and everything, I could still do in London, but just had to be in slightly different ways via the internet, or playing games through apps with each other or things like that, or just visiting. And it was fine, like I could still tick off those things, I could still feel joyful about my family and joyful in my day that I'd spoken to my family and stuff, just in a slightly different way. So I think if there are things that you're like, oh, I really don't want to move because of this, this and this, try and figure out ways you can have this, this and this in your new location, wherever your university is going to be, wherever you're moving to, and that way you can still have those little joys throughout your day whilst becoming that new person that you want to be living by yourself. But yeah, that was just a little insight into my brain, where my mindset was at, kind of how I looked at it when I was moving to uni, and kind of the adjustments I had to make once I got there, and just some of the things I guess I learned from it. It's definitely something I would recommend if you're deciding whether to live at home or move to university. I would definitely recommend moving. It's just some experience that you'll never have again, and it's definitely a good part of your university experience to live in university accommodation. It's super fun, definitely challenging, but something that you never really experience at any other part of your life. Like, that's the only time you really get to do it, so I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, I hope that gave some useful tips, even if it was just 10 minutes of your day where you could sit down, listen to someone ramble about moving away from home for a bit, because I guess when I was a fresher I would have really enjoyed this video, just to see if there was anything that kind of stood out to me, or just to get someone else's perspective, I guess, of such a huge move, such a big transition, but really like broken down, and see like the after effects of it. Does that make sense? I really don't know what I'm saying anymore. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this video here before I keep rambling for like another half an hour, but hopefully you found something useful in here, and hopefully you've just enjoyed taking a little peek into my brain and seeing what's going on in there. If you did have any questions you wanted to ask, feel free to leave them down in the comments, or go over and DM me on Instagram, and maybe I'll do a part 2 where I answer your questions and I'm a bit more detailed in my advice and things like that, and hopefully can help some of you guys out who are concerned or worried about the move. It's fine, don't worry, we've all been there. So feel free to leave me any questions down below. But if you have liked this video, please hit thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe, because I post 3 videos a week. So if you're bored, sat at home looking for more content to watch, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye.